Hello, hello. I always say that twice. My name's Josh. This is my wife, Sarah,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm Sarah.
And today we're sitting down with Dena Schrock over here. She's somebody that we've heard her many times. We've seen the interviews of her, but I guess we had met one time before. But we're excited to have you here. We're glad you came.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah,
I'm honored to be here with you lovely people.
Aw,
we're
thank
lovely
you.
people.
Yes.
So you wrote a couple books. You got one there on display and this one.
Yeah,
Obviously, we'll
here's
get into
one.
that.
Yep.
And then you're also a speaker at an event you guys put on.
Mhm.
Um, you're pretty big on social media, and I've seen you have your own website,
Yeah.
Dena Schrock. Is it Dena or Dana?
Dena.
Dena, yes.
DenaSchrock.com
Yes.
is my website.
Well, we're
Yeah.
just gonna jump right in. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you grew up and like what order Amish?
Yeah. So I grew up in Tennessee, Kentucky. Went through eighth grade education in
Hmm.
Tennessee, and it was in the Swartz and Truber Amish church.
Okay. And that's like the lowest of the low. Since
Yes.
we came
Yeah.
from that, so I can say that, you know?
Yeah. You came from, did you come from that?
I was lower than you.
Oh, well, now we're
You know,
arguing about it.
like
I,
Swartz and Trooper Amish, right?
yes.
You were too, but then I mean, if we really want to get into that, so we were Moas, the MM church they
Oh,
called.
you split from the, well, we
Yeah.
called everybody Swartz and True Brownish, and then Mosimo split off of
Okay.
it was a big mess,
So
but
they went a little lower because they were better or something.
didn't they have a little bit longer hair, or the dresses were a little bit longer in the beginning?
Probably,
They
I
weren't
mean,
allowed to use any drivers.
no. But that's a good topic.
So you were in the Mosimo's church,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then Andy Weaver church split from them.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember those.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is when they do that? What are they doing? Like, what's going on when they split off?
It
What is it?
really varies, but like
I do remember you
I,
talked about a split in your book that your church
yes,
went through a split.
that was the Mosimo split when I was 16, 15, 16 years old. And my cousin, I was very close to my cousin Anna.
Mm.
And I wrote in the book about her. She was my best friend and my only good friend I had in Kentucky when I lived there in my teenage years.
Hmm.
And then her family went to the Mosimos church, but there were no other people from that community that were going to that church. So they had to move to Ohio.
Oh my gosh. And
So then
she got sick or something.
she had got leukemia,
Oh my.
and she died like a couple weeks after, maybe 2 months after they moved to Ohio.
Wow.
So that was,
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
reading in the book and how she got sick and they hadn't even moved yet, but she was very weak.
Mhm.
Like she was basically bedridden, but
Yeah.
they still moved. I'm like,
It's,
why would you still go through that?
yeah, and she did not want to go to that church.
But they had
Her
to.
plans were not, her plans was to stay in the Cho Troyer church.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That was the
But
wild church to us.
to you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we would have been.
You were the
Wow.
wild ones.
Yeah. For outsiders, I mean, you always put it. There's a Nazarene church and the Baptist, and
Yeah,
they all look the
Pentecostal.
same. But there's these little bitty,
Differences.
yeah. But when somebody splits off, is it that they're trying to be better, right? And what's the purpose of it?
See, I don't think they would admit that they're trying to be better, but they're trying to stay to a certain conviction that they have.
Yeah.
And then certain, the people that have that same conviction followed that. And the
Mm,
ones that have the other convictions stay.
hmm. I do remember in your book too, you talked about how the bishops were having an argument or something when the split started or something. They couldn't agree on something about a boy that was shunned and
Yeah, that's the whole reason the split happened, was because of that guy. And I don't know, I wasn't a member at the time, a church member, so I don't know the whole detail.
right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they won't tell the ones that aren't members.
Yeah. But would you think that is what causes splits sometimes is when the bishops can't agree with each other
Yeah,
or like
yes.
the
Yeah.
preachers? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't
It,
just the bishops, but more of like
it's mostly like the bishop and then the bishops and then the preachers, of course, they have to choose sides with which bishop.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that totally we just ran off track there, but hey,
Yeah.
It's interesting to other people, and even for me, both of us, we were not a member of the church.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you didn't get shunned.
no,
Mm-mm.
I'm
no.
shunned.
Yeah.
from-
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Darn.
I'm gonna move over a little.
Yeah, that's why you're around the corner.
Yeah.
You know,
Put you on that
there's,
corner.
there's a splice
We
here.
should
That'll
eat
work.
together.
Yeah.
now.
But you had started saying about how you grew up Schwarzentuber and then kind of jumped to when you were 15 or something.
Yeah.
In your book, you talked about when you were 6 years old, you already started having these feelings of I don't belong and you were lonely and
Honestly, I guess that was the Holy Spirit already uh doing his work in me.
Mhm.
But I was just really tired of life. And I remember sitting on the rocking chair and telling my mom I was crying and I just said I don't want to live anymore. She tried to encourage me and she did, just
Mhm.
told me things will get better. Like, what's the problem or what's the matter? And I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was going through abuse. I wasn't, uh, there was no sexual abuse. There was nothing that I could really point out
Yeah.
that was wrong.
It was more of just that
Just,
darkness, depression, like
yeah, just
type
the
of
Mhm.
darkness, I think it
yeah.
was.
Well, I
And
think I mean I get that. I understand it because now even when I don't know if you feel like this, if you go, let's say you go see your family, do you feel that? Like when you leave for something, you're like, you can finally breathe again.
yeah, yeah. Gosh, there's been times after I had left that I didn't go back to see my parents for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like 3 years was one time that I stayed away just because there was always a heaviness when
Mhm.
I left. And it's always easier to stay away and not deal with that feeling. So, I mean,
Do you
how
get
about,
over it?
yeah, now I get over it quicker than
Mhm.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to not be able to get over it quick, but now it's like I know who I am in Christ. I'm more free
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that area.
I wonder if is any of that condemnation, guilt, which it's false, but we are like, well, I'm not shunned by the church, but you're still looked at a bad person, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is when you feel. Because I had it too. You drive away like, man, I don't want to come back to this place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just there. It's not that 'cause most people think the Amish are nice people, and most of them are.
Mhm.
And and we also know there's a lot of dark secrets that are going on
Mhm.
underneath the surface, under the wool hats and the straw
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah.
But on the surface, they're nice people, but then we don't have that experience most of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my point is, but that's my point, I guess.
Well, how is it when you go back home to visit?
It's kind of the same. It used to be harder too, but then eventually, me and my parents, my dad especially, sort of have this agreement that wasn't really spoken, but we don't get into religious. We don't talk about that stuff. He doesn't talk about me. He doesn't talk about my life or anything. And so it makes the conversation kind of hard because you're going to talk about gardening and furniture and
The weather.
yeah, the weather and the sweet corn. And
Yeah.
so Yeah, it's been well over 2 years, I think, since I went
Yeah.
home
Oh, okay.
too. So it's been a while. Yeah,
And where would your parents live?
they live in Lodi,
Oh,
up there
okay.
around Ashland, Ohio. That's where they live.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I would think like the question you had, like what is it, that dark
yeah.
thing? I think that would is more like the spirit of religion, and they're so negative, always focused on the bad
Depression.
about everybody.
Yes.
Like
Hmm.
they always the gossip is terrible among the Amish, and it's never positive. It's always about, oh, this, did you hear about that person
Yeah.
did this?
Always about other people.
And
And
so I think that's probably what we feel when we go back, because they live under that. And we're redeemed and we don't live under that anymore. We live
right.
free, so
So
we feel that more.
it's a dark oppression that
Hmm.
we feel. So
Definitely.
Have you
yeah.
noticed that they like to talk about death, people dying?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but now,
It seems like they do.
yeah.
I met this. I took a something I sell, and I took an order to these people, and the lady let me in the house because I talk Dutch to them. So she let me in the house, and she was talking, but it was just stories of her grandpa and her grandma and her mom, and like everybody was dying. And I feel that a lot of times they love to bring up that as a reminder to you that you're gonna die.
That's why they say that.
Yeah, it's like
Make sure you're aware that you could die any minute. Do you want to come back?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what's you're like? Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna die, or like, yeah, I got to go home early.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you
definitely.
don't scare me with death. You just I'm
Right.
not gonna give
I'm
into
not
that.
scared of death either.
So
Yeah. I mean, since we're on that topic, your dad passed away just in the last year, right?
Yeah, January
And
this
were
year.
you able to go?
So I found out he wasn't doing very well, so my brother encouraged me to go see him over Thanksgiving. I did. I stopped in to see him, and um, it didn't go the way I was hoping, and
Yeah.
it's been 3 years that I hadn't seen him.
Okay.
So I was hoping for a blessing, or like more like, well, he's now not doing well. He's almost 85. We know he's gonna pass soon. So I was hoping to hear something like, well, Dina, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I wish you nothing but the best. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
I was hoping for something like that, but no, he just had things to say like, your lifestyle, we know it's not godly.
Hmm.
And are you still not with your husband? That can't be God's will if one lives in Ohio and the other in Florida.
Mhm. Wow.
And
Yeah.
and I said I'm doing very well. I don't have any regrets. And he's like, well, that really bothers him that I don't have regrets.
Oh. See, that's the thing. They always
See?
have regrets, right?
Yeah. I felt so free. I feel so good. I'm like, I have no regrets.
Uh-huh.
I keep living and I'm happy and I'm doing well. And here he
That's
just
awesome.
didn't
You
have
just,
very good things to say.
wow.
And then another thing he did say is when he passes, when he dies, he would not have me or us who left sit with the family, that we should sit outside of family. He's like, if you don't want to be living with the family, you shouldn't sit with them either. I said,
Wow.
since when did that come up? Because we sat with family when mom passed away.
Hmm.
And then he's like, well, that gave some issues, that made issues in the church, so he doesn't want that. So,
Wow.
yeah, then that kind of hit me.
Oh, I bet. I mean, he
I,
was still your dad, so it
yeah,
still hurts a little bit of what he says.
it did. I left there, I felt very burdened and sad.
Yeah.
did you
Wow.
go to a funeral then or viewing?
I actually did not. I went the day before, so I was at the
Okay.
viewing, and I saw quite a few of my siblings, but
Okay.
I didn't stay for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sitting on those harp benches without a back for 5 hours or whatever. Doesn't really sit well with me. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. And sometimes you also just have to choose to do what's right for you. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't.
that's what I did.
I like to go back to that being depressed, and I totally relate to you. I think I went like I think almost a week where I would cry every day,
Mm,
and I couldn't eat. I would sit at the table and not want to look at anybody, and I couldn't eat. And it
mhm.
was, I don't know, I would want to say it's demonic.
Yeah.
The way the way it just randomly came, but anyways, I got over it. But the question, I guess, is for somebody who might watch this and they're going through that. They're a young boy or young girl, and whether they're Amish or not, what do you tell them? What do they do?
Wow. I would
Yeah.
now, like, now that I know what I know, I would say, well, let me pray with you. I really love you. Like,
Hmm.
pray with you and then, I don't know, help a person out like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
it's
talking
sad.
about if you're a kid, but I'm talking about a 16-year-old Amish kid where I was at who didn't have a parent relationship with the parents good enough to
Right.
turn to them.
Yeah, you couldn't.
You have There's nobody to turn to. I was clueless.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I've often thought, like, how can we reach out to little Amish kids?
Right.
But I know we always looked up to the outside, that we call them English
Mm.
people. When somebody would come by to buy something, we would sell vegetables and baked goods and all that. So when somebody stopped to buy something, and they might have given us candy or
Right.
a little something that brightened our day.
Uh-huh.
Um, and now I try to remember that when I go around
Oh,
Amish people.
yeah, that is a really good thought
Yeah.
for people that do buy things from the Amish, just to, gum or candy, or tell them about Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know Jesus,
The
tell them
little
about Jesus
kids.
because,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
just talk to the little kids
Yeah,
'cause that makes a difference in their lives.
definitely. And I would think like what you were saying, like if there is somebody watching like a 16-year-old kid that doesn't know what to do, there's so much like online stuff now that you can reach out to people, and even YouTube.
I'm just gonna
Like
keep digging
search
in my
some
argument. They're
videos.
Amish. They don't have a phone. They have no access to
No,
the
you
outside
I
world.
was talking about people that wouldn't be Amish,
Right,
or
yeah.
even kids that,
I'm talking about me at 16 years
yeah,
old,
no, I
lost,
understand.
looking down the barrel of a
Well,
gun.
did your
So
parents, when you didn't eat at the table or when you went through that depression, did anybody say anything?
I think if I remember right, my dad did talk to me. I believe it was that time that it was nice that he, gosh, it sounds harsh, but he tried to. But the way I look at it is he had never built that relationship
So you
where,
weren't open.
yeah, because we didn't have, he was not bad. He
Yeah.
never beat me up or anything. He just, they don't have that relationship where you call your parents friends.
Yeah.
And most of the Amish, especially the Swartz introvert.
Right.
So I would just deny it. I didn't know what to tell him.
Yeah.
What did I say? I don't know. And
Yeah.
there's a good chance that there's people outside of the Amish teenagers that, I mean, if we're talking these days, there's a lot of stuff going on in teenagers'
Right.
lives.
Yeah.
Well, you have teenagers, so
I
who am I
and
talking to?
yeah, well, my teenagers personally, they're doing well.
Yeah.
They have the open box where they can find life and find help.
Hmm.
I can help them with if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
struggle. But like the Amish teenagers, um, my passion, my heart is to help them when they leave. Now, the hard part is if they're under 18 and they want to leave, um, I have a hard time knowing exactly how to handle that.
Yeah.
So if anybody can help me with ideas on how to handle that.
Yeah.
And if they're in like a situation they really need to leave to be safe,
Mhm.
um, I'd like to know a little bit more of how to handle that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I had a 16-year-old girl recently that needed a home or wanted to leave and needs a home, but that's so young. I mean, they could, if the parents choose to
Right. If they choose to report it.
record it,
Mhm.
I could,
Yeah.
you could get in trouble. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I
I don't
think
know.
probably just a written agreement saying, okay, she didn't kidnap me or,
That the girl would have to
yeah.
write.
Yeah, we were in North Carolina recently at a friend's house, and he had his nephew left. He was
Mhm.
17,
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah, he was still
Mm-hmm.
16.
And so I told him, the guy that went to pick him up, I said, what I would probably do at this point is just take a video with your phone and just say, hey, something like have him say that you're not kidnapping him, that
Mhm.
he voluntarily, and you could take a video of him getting in the car.
Yeah,
That I voluntarily am getting in the car with you, running away from home.
that would be a good idea.
Yeah, just so you have that, and then because what happens, like you said, is sometimes they do report it as kidnapping
Right.
Right.
to
Yeah.
try to get you in trouble. They love to see you go to jail.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But do you think the law would actually ever go that far as, 'cause especially
If
around
they
Amish
know
country?
the Amish,
Yeah,
they probably wouldn't.
right.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. I took one home one time that the sheriff did call my cousin, even though Harvey.
Yeah.
Um, and they just said, here's the situation, and you're gonna have to bring him home, or we'll have to come after you.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him back, and there's a deputy there waiting, and dropped him off. He never left again. So
Wow.
Hmm.
I guess it worked that time.
Boy, I feel sorry for those that want to leave and don't know where to go.
Yeah.
How old were you when you left?
I was 17 the first time. And it was kind of that situation too. My cousin called and it's like, hey, somebody hurt your dad talking to an elder at the church and said they're gonna send the cops after me. And he would recommend that I come back before they do that. And so the people I was living with, the lady took me back.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that was the most miserable day ever, the day I went back out.
Wow. I have homed 5 girls so far since I'm in Florida
Oh, really?
that
Wow.
have
Wow.
come and gone.
Okay.
They come, they figure out what well, I don't know. I look at it more as a healing place or just a place to kind of come to and then figure out what they want. I had this one girl that she's now in Minnesota and she seems to be doing well. Um, I don't think she has her license yet, but she was definitely needing a lot of help with just encouragement and
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out where she wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also the hardest thing to do, isn't it, for kids that leave because they don't want to be told what to do.
I know.
And
Yeah.
No, you
yeah,
have to
Yep.
tell them,
yeah.
especially if they're teenagers, and because they need to figure out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And all
That's
we
true.
can do is love on them and
Yeah,
encourage them.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't be like, okay, we're going to church. You have to go to church.
Yeah,
Like that's the last thing they want to hear when they leave is
that's
Yeah.
because
go to
they look at
church.
church as
Yeah.
the religious thing, so
Uh-huh.
it's not what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, of Amish Rescue Mission?
Hmm.
Um, their their mission is more to help those who are being abused if they
Mm-hmm.
leave. So I would say probably that'd be an outlet for them. Get a hold of Amish Rescue Mission,
Okay.
and if if they're being abused,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
because that's something that needs to be more talked about, and people need to step up and
Right.
report it and do something about it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So, how old were you so you were married.
Yeah,
Did you have kids?
I was 23 and in my book I'll show you. That was when I met my
Oh
ex,
my
the
goodness
first.
gracious! There's a
Hmm.
picture of you guys in there when you
Yeah,
were still
and
Amish.
then yes, we had our oldest was 13 months old
Okay.
when we left them.
Wow.
Her picture is
Yeah.
in there.
Let me show them this picture of you guys where we're now. I'm like
Well, hold
there.
on. They have to write a book if they want.
Oh, no, come on. It's
Uh,
sneak peek. See if you can see that. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty crazy. Does not look like you at all.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That does not look familiar.
and Joe had long hair and
So how
Oh
old?
yeah, typical Amish boy.
Yeah. You were how old when you left?
23.
23.
All right, was one kid.
Yeah,
Okay. That would be different than like did you have your own home that you owned?
we owned the skit house. We lived in a skit house.
I know which one
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
By the sawmill, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we had a deal with the property owner. I don't. I mean, Joe did that, so I was the submissive woman. I don't know everything,
Yeah.
but when we left, so Joe had built a pallet shop from scratch, and we were doing really good financially, and then anyway, we would have been able to sell that business for 40 grand. But since we were shunned already, they're not allowed to buy anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
So the deal, they couldn't pay us for business.
Oh my.
They wanted to take over the business, but they didn't want to pay for it because they weren't allowed to pay for it.
Oh, what a
And
scheme.
us naive little Amish couple, I mean, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
We gave it to them.
That's terrible.
You
I
give it
know.
to them.
Yeah,
They basically robbed you. I mean,
because
oh
we're
my
shunned.
God.
Wow.
That was terrible. Now, after you grow and you realize and you realize what you could have done differently, then you would have done things differently. But
Mhm.
at the time, it was just a shock and everything was terrible to go through.
What made you guys leave?
Oh, it was my brother. My brother was being shunned in Canada for believing in being born again.
Oh wow.
He went to the bishop and said, "Hey, I read John 3:16. You can be born again. Did you know that?" He said. And then the bishop's like, "Well, was bestimmt schwätzere mehr."
What are you
But
talking about? Wow.
like, well, if you believe that, then we have to excommunicate you.
Wow.
And my brother was like, "Well, if that's what it takes, then he can't go back on what he found." So
Oh
we started writing letters back and forth, and me and my husband agreed with him. And then they came to visit, and we didn't shun him and his wife.
my.
And then
Okay.
that's when they got us.
They found out.
They found out we didn't shun them.
Oh my gosh.
And
So
then,
you got in trouble for not shunning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they would have kept us not, they wouldn't have shunned us if we would have confessed that we did wrong.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
But we're like, if we confess, then we're like hypocrites.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up not confessing, and then they put us out.
Wow, that's just ridiculous.
So that's why we left in the first place, and it took me about a year to wear pants. Like I would always wear dresses. I'd have fear of man, like unbelievable fear of man.
Yeah.
And I didn't want my family to see me with the steering wheel. So I didn't drive for a whole year.
Really?
I let my husband drive, and but I got over that, and then we had three more kids. So we have four. And then about 5 years ago, we went through a divorce.
Wow.
Unfortunate, but
I mean, how did that affect you? I imagine it would have been hard to.
it was Oh, it was very hard.
Mhm.
I used to say the hardest thing I've ever done was leave my family.
Hmm.
And then now I say the hardest thing is divorce.
Yeah.
Something you never want,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
you never anticipate, you never thought would happen.
Yeah.
And you have these kids and you want to build a home, you want to build a family, you want to have this family atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's destroyed.
Yeah, I do imagine that would be the hardest thing is like worrying about your kids. Okay, are they going to be okay? Or like,
It affects them
yeah,
a lot. I'm sure it does, even though they don't talk that much about it, but I know it has effect on them.
yeah, yeah. So how do you come back from that? Like you said, it's been like 5 years and you seem to be doing really well. So,
Yeah, I am now. I actually 2 years afterwards, I was like, I gotta do something different because I don't want to be stuck. I want
hmm
to move forward because I'm not gonna go back.
yeah,
And how do I move forward? Like, oh, I did counseling, I did um, a lot of books, self-help, motivational. Um, I don't know, like it's got just taking me through everything and
yeah.
healing. God has been so good through all of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
But
Personal growth than
yes.
anything, yeah. That can, I went through a lot of that myself. I did counseling years ago, but in the last 6 years, I would say I just start listening to stuff. And when I drive, when I was out doing deliveries,
Hmm.
instead of listening to music or being in the truck like 8 to 10 hours a day, I always say I turned my truck into college.
Yeah.
There's so many YouTube videos. There's so many,
Yeah.
great interviews on Live with Josh and Sarah on YouTube that you can listen to.
There you go.
Wow,
Well,
that's
that was
in there.
you just and
I
it
love that.
gives you confidence, and you have to turn off. It's just like what you eat. Go eat
Yeah.
poison, you're gonna get sick. Well, you listen to poison and you watch poison on TV, you're gonna get emotionally sick,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
right?
Right.
I mean, am I wrong or
No, it's so true.
yeah,
And I got the Audible app too.
Mm.
yeah, I
So
get
I
that.
Yep.
downloaded books and that was my listening. Yeah, that's what I would listen to is Audible books on the road.
Yeah.
Speaking of books, what would they listen to?
Yeah.
Is yours on Audible?
It is not yet.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
But you can get it
But
on.
this book has 14 different ladies' stories. So this is a really good book if somebody just wants short stories, one
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah. And
per-
down here it says the voices of hope. Do you want to talk a little
Yeah,
bit about what
so
that's about?
in 2018, actually, before I went through divorce, separation, I started the nonprofit organization that's called Voices of Hope. I have a couple ladies that help me organize it.
Hmm
Um, and then we do conferences once a year.
Okay.
And this book comes from that.
Okay.
Uh,
Just from ladies that came to the conference
on
and
the back,
shared.
you can, yeah,
Okay.
on the back, you can see a conference taking
I
place.
see.
And all the ladies that wrote in here have been at a conference.
Nice.
So,
I was actually at one years ago.
yeah, you were.
Like I feel like it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like it.
So you have every year you have the conference,
Hmm.
and where is that at?
Berlin, Ohio.
Berlin, Ohio. Okay.
I don't know if you mentioned is there a website? Like if people are interested in joining that, how would they
Yeah,
find it?
yeah. And actually, there's one coming up this next Friday and Saturday, but the
Which,
website to Voices of Hope is voicesofhopegivers.com.
Okay.
okay.
So people can go on there The event is on there.
We will, of course, put a link in the description for that and for the book.
Yeah.
That one, I read a couple stories. The one that really caught my attention was when it says Sam Mullet's daughter, right? So if
Yes.
you don't know who Sam Mullet is, just Google his name, but it's a crazy,
Criminal.
yeah, stuff in there. He had an Amish prison in a barn.
Hmm.
I got questions for that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
are you kidding me? He locked people up in a barn.
I know. It's unbelievable. And the lady that wrote that chapter has written 2 books.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
really? Okay.
So,
And we
yeah.
can get her
Nice.
on here.
Yeah, that's a
That's a good
story
one.
for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then this one, is that more your personal story?
This is my personal story.
Okay.
And when the ending is when we left the Amish. It doesn't talk about divorce,
Mhm.
Okay.
because I was still married.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay.
and I'm working on another one.
Oh, you are?
Another book. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Why do only the women write books?
Maybe they're more driven. No.
Or maybe they have more freedom now because, I mean, they were always,
Stuff.
yeah,
That could be from the Amish.
yeah.
Because now there's quite a lot of Amish women,
Mhm.
ex-Amish,
Mhm.
Yeah, there are.
coming out with books.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
lately, really.
I only know of one man, that Monroe Miller.
Oh.
He was on, read him on.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. Where you at with life these days?
Yeah, so I moved to Florida, going back to 2 years after the separation or
Uh-huh.
divorce. I did move to Florida.
Mhm.
I used to live in Ohio and I moved to Florida and to just kind of
Yeah.
restart or start fresh is how they say it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Start fresh. So
Yeah.
I have started my own cleaning business down there, and gosh,
Nice.
work is all over the place. You could move down there and get a job and,
Mm,
do very well.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm
Here we
sure
are.
people love your like once you've probably cleaned one person's house, they tell all their friends and they're like,
Yeah,
hey, you should get
how
Dena to clean your house.
that's how it goes. We
Yeah.
clean 3 to 4 houses every day.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And I
yes,
have
that's
2
huge.
workers helping. So,
Okay.
What part of Florida?
Ocala area. It's a big horse country. You guys
Okay.
should come
Mm.
down
Yeah,
sometime.
we
Bigger,
should.
like
Horse,
north,
like
east, west, bottom, top.
It's north.
you had said it's
Uh,
about 3 hours north of Sarasota
it
or
is
something, but
3 hours north of Sarasota. It's north of
North.
Tampa.
Okay.
Um,
Somewhere on the west side.
they call it mid. They call it North Florida.
Okay.
North. It's the middle part. I'm like an hour to the east, an hour to the west, almost.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
So
kind
you're
of in
about
the
in the
middle.
middle.
okay.
Hmm. That doesn't seem like the right place.
Yeah,
In
it is.
Florida, you're supposed to live out close to the coast,
I
aren't you?
know. It's so
Where everybody
expensive
else
out
is.
by the coast.
Yeah, I could see that.
It
Yeah.
gets
You're probably still not that far from the beach, are you?
about an hour,
Okay.
hour and 20 minutes. And I go whenever. I just go in the mornings and I come back in the evenings.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Well, maybe
And
next time we go to Florida, we'll know where to go and
hang
we'll
your
come see
hang
you.
your hat at my house.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do that. I did want to ask if you still have any kind of relationship with your ex Cho, like if you guys honestly
I
still have to talk to each other at some point.
Yeah, we talk very little, and anytime we do, it has to do with the kids.
Yeah. And your kids are all, how old is
They're
your youngest?
The youngest is 17.
Okay.
So the girls barely talk to him. Um, the girls and we kind of, I help them and,
Yeah.
but, the boys, I mean, they're very independent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So yeah, there's really not a whole lot need to talk to him
Yeah.
or to be in communication with him. So
Yeah, I just like I know like most people they get divorced and then they really hate each other.
yeah,
It's like
no, I can't say that. He's, we went through a lot together,
yeah,
leaving the Amish. Um, I have 4 wonderful children with him, so
yeah.
he's going his way and I'm my way. So
Yeah.
Yep. I also wanted to mention we should have done this in the introduction, but you were on a few TV shows, right?
oh, oh,
Yeah, tell us about
Which
that.
was right
oh
there.
my goodness, yes. The Dr. Phil show.
Okay.
That was in 2014, I believe. And I tell you, doing things like that is way out of your comfort zone and it gets people talking.
Yeah.
So you always got to be prepared for
Uh-huh.
backlash and you shouldn't be doing that and that and that and that. Well, it was the right thing for me at the moment. So,
Mhm.
um,
And would that be on YouTube? Like if people would want to find the video.
I'm sure it is.
you might have to go on drphil.com or Dr. Phil's website. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because sometimes they take it down and then next it's back up again.
Oh,
I'm not sure who does that.
okay.
Um, but I was dressed as an Amish lady to represent the Amish women and the
Okay.
abuse that goes on in the Amish.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it was for a good reason.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then the other thing I was on, I'm trying to think. I guess the other TV show I was more behind the scenes.
Okay.
Breaking Amish.
Yeah, I thought you were on that one.
I worked a lot behind the scenes,
I
and
gotcha.
I might have been on camera a little bit, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it was interesting, good experience.
Yeah, I bet. I was like, and that was years ago, so you didn't have as much experience out here yet.
Right. Yeah, it was 2014, 13, something
So
like
that's like
that.
10
10
years
years, yeah.
ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty far back there.
Yeah.
I imagine that would stretch you pretty far to
Yeah.
do something like that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd like to go on a TV like a talk show or um news show somewhere
Mm-hmm.
to share my story a little bit
Yeah.
about my
That'd be
boat
cool.
growing
Yeah,
up Amish.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions?
I'm thinking.
You're thinking?
You're in deep thought.
There's more.
Yeah, I did want to ask you if you have any kind of like fun memory of growing up.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, there's probably a couple, but one that really sticks out was every Saturday night. And I don't know if you guys had this in your homes, but I was in a big family. There's 14 of us.
Okay.
So every Saturday night, the older sisters would pop popcorn, the guys, and we would roast peanuts
Oh,
and
wow.
pop popcorn. And then the brothers, after chores is all done, they would be coming in, they'd be cleaning up, washing their hair.
Uh-huh.
So coming up with jokes for the week. They would kind of like unload their whole week on what happened.
Yeah.
And that's such a good memory
Oh,
that
that's
I
really
have.
cool. So you would basically sit around and eat popcorn and
Well, we would pop the corn for Sunday,
oh, okay, I got
but
you.
then we'd also eat a little bit. But
Uh,
it was like just a Saturday night. The week is over. We're just gonna
Yeah.
chill
wow.
out and
And you get a
clean
We
up.
bath, right? You
we
get a
get a
bath
bath.
for
Yep,
the first times in
bath.
class Saturday, right?
Yes,
Just get a bath once every Saturday.
once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would heat the water in the kettle out
Uh-huh.
in the wash house, laundry house,
Hmm.
and
Did you like put your water in a bathtub then?
Hmm.
Not like a big plastic water trough or something.
Well, it was like we called it a galvanized
Okay,
tub.
uh-huh.
One of those, well, ours was oval, like an
Yeah.
oval
And it was pretty
galvanized.
deep, wasn't it? Like a couple feet or
Yeah,
something.
like this.
Yeah.
And
I guess that wasn't too bad.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the hot summer, though, too, we would just sponge off with a bucket of water and then
Mm,
dump the water on, you know,
yeah,
rinse us kind of like
I
a
remember
shower.
doing that.
But then as girls, we didn't wash our hair more than like once a month, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Like we weren't allowed doing it every week. Like I don't know.
I mean, I
Wasn't-
guess you don't see it if it's up in
Yeah.
there under. You're supposed to hide them all under your cap, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said 14. Were you old or younger, or were you at in
I'm one of the younger ones.
one of the younger ones? Okay.
Third to the youngest.
Okay. And your parents both passed away now.
Yes.
How old is your oldest sibling?
She would be, gosh, she was born in 61,
Wow.
whatever that makes her. I'd say about 60, I think.
Well, I was in 87, so if I was 81, that would make her 20 years older than me, and I'm 36. So yeah, she's got to be in her 60s.
You're
Yeah.
37.
What did I say?
You said you're 36.
Well, I just had a birthday recently, so it doesn't count yet.
Didn't sink
You
in.
know.
1 year is not much
No,
different.
it's like a few weeks now.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks. Well, something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Any of your other siblings leave the Amish?
Yes, so I have one sister and one brother that left, and then I have another sister that went to the Mennonites.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So there's four of us that drive cars.
Nice.
The
Nice.
rest are still driving buggy.
Yep,
But
cars
not
and
none
buggy.
of you live in the same state, do you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Florida, and my other sister that left lives in Kansas, and yeah, brother lives in Alabama.
Wow. You're all over.
Yeah,
At least he lives down south, close to you, right?
I know.
Closer.
When I moved south, I was like, we could move to Alabama, but my kids were like,
Alabama. Who wants to live in Alabama?
I know.
Sorry, Alabama people. But,
I do like their college football team, though.
Oh, you're in the football, huh?
I do like football.
yeah. You would also, like, you're an entrepreneur, right?
I am.
That means you kind of, I don't know, what does that mean to you, I guess? Put it that way.
Well, I would say, in my experience of being an entrepreneur, it's like going to college while making money while you go to college.
That makes sense.
It's a personal growth experience, and it helps you value people in a different way that you haven't valued them before. Um, I think it is such a great thing to have is that drive and experience to grow a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can kind of do whatever you want because you're not working for someone, right?
Yeah, you can make your own hours.
Yeah.
Do you think more women should be that go out on their own, or?
Well, I want to say women, I would, of course, aspire women to support, be capable of working or doing business. But if you have a man that is willing to support, I'd say take it all in
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I value guys that support their women or support the family.
Uh-huh.
But then if the woman is entrepreneurial in her personality, then the man will support that in whatever
Yeah.
that is. But
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes a difference on how young the kids are. I
Yeah.
just hate to see. I think society in America, especially, has gone to a point where there's actually more women now graduating from college than men,
That I
and
don't like to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think so. It's where everybody thinks they both have to have a job. They have to have a two-person income.
Yeah.
They have to have the big house, the fancy cars, and then they have babies, and the babies go off to babysitter in school. And so I'm on the side of totally agree with you that yeah, go for it if you want
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
But I would like to see more women stay home and take care of the kids, their
Yeah.
babies,
Yeah.
Mhm.
until they're growing up. Then yeah,
Exactly. I think it's a it just because the woman stays home and raises the kids or takes care of them doesn't mean it's lesser of a value than what the guy is
Right,
doing.
exactly.
It's a
yeah,
team effort
Mhm.
in the household. And
hmm
now I do think like if something comes up where there's abuse in the home, the woman feels like there's no way out because she doesn't have a job or doesn't have financial support,
hmm
then
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
where it gets really hard because what is she going to do?
Right.
Live in abuse or get help to
Mhm.
make a way?
and then a
Um,
abusive man will try to make sure she does not get
leave.
out,
Yeah,
come free. There was
exactly.
in your book, I think it's in your story in there, where you talked about your ex, where I just remember reading it that you were going to go get counseling
Hmm.
and he wouldn't let you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess he actually said, if you go, don't come back.
Yeah, that's what he
And
has.
I'm just trying to figure out why would he not want you to get counseling?
I know. I think that's a pride. It might have been a pride thing for him. Or it might have been like he's afraid something comes out about him that he doesn't want anybody else to know.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
personally don't know.
hmm
Wow.
I guess I've thought about why a person would think that way.
Yeah.
But
I just found it very interesting
yeah.
that he would say
Yeah,
no.
I think like if the woman needs counseling, I think the guy should support that
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and be for it.
definitely. But I mean, I could see where if a man is being abusive, then he doesn't want the woman to go get counseling because she's
Right.
gonna tell the counselor, and they're automatically they have to report it, right?
Yeah, if it's well, certain things they
Yeah,
have to, yeah. I would advise everybody, if you're a couple, you should have couple friends, like
absolutely.
some type of close friend that you can look up to.
Mhm.
hmm
I always say have someone in your life that you can look up to that helps you, and then you help someone that has been going through something that you have already been through so that you can help them
That's good.
because it's like a chain reaction.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's definitely very important is to
yeah,
have friends that you trust that you can talk to. Don't go gossip to them. Say, "Oh, my husband's doing this or that," but you know.
get advice,
Yeah.
someone that you can get advice from.
Uh-huh.
hmm
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm very strong in that. Is gossiping is something I had to learn. Is and I'm at the point where now I don't want to know some things. Like if somebody starts to tell me about
Someone
this person, I
else.
try to change the subject. I'm like, I don't know. I do not want to know
Yeah.
because you judge people based on what you know.
Mhm.
So if I don't know about this person, oh, did you hear this person got a DUI? Oh, I'm gonna judge him based on that. Oh, he
Mhm.
must be a drunk. Oh,
Hmm.
so I just honestly don't want to know
Yeah.
because then you don't judge him that way. And
Right.
especially in a marriage, if if she's got an issue with me, I got an issue with her. I can have a close friend that I can talk about some of the stuff, depending how deep it is. Then it needs to be a counselor, or
Hmm.
I can talk to her about it,
Mhm.
or I can talk to God about it.
Yeah.
But you not go because it's that trust that you
Exactly.
build in a relationship that you know that you won't go gossip. I do not want her to go tell her friends all my problems.
Exactly. Right.
It's just not okay.
It's not, no,
Mhm.
it's not okay.
Yeah.
But that happens a lot, I think.
I,
Like in
probably.
marriage, yeah,
Yeah,
I think it does a
probably.
lot where
And that's where,
the grouch at home is just doing this or that again. Like
Mhm. And that I respect that about you, about your ex, is to say, yeah, he did what he did, and it is what it is. But you're not going to sit here and trash him.
hmm
And part of that, he's also human.
yeah.
He's part of the human race that we share this earth with, and we just need to stop trashing people as much.
Yeah.
You know.
and even if you don't like him, you still have to love him because Jesus said love your enemies.
That you could do that. You could love people without liking them. That's possible.
Love them from a distance.
From Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we're about at the end of it. What do you think?
Unless you got anything else you want to share.
I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on with it.
Yeah.
We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been
Great
fun.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will put links. We will just put a bunch of links. Her website link, the books, whatever that other thing that we brought up. I said we will put the link in the description.
Voices of Hope.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Voices of
Voices of
Hope. We'll try to put all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
And we thank y'all for watching. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.